Hey everybody, this is Mr. Danzel, and today we're going to be talking about color and text, adding those things to Photoshop. So first we need to create a new canvas. We need to come over here, change this to inches. We also want it to be portrait this time, and we're going to make it 8 by 10. So inches, 8 by 10, portrait, click on create, there you go. And we are going to add some color to the background. So if you come over here to color, you can actually add color to the background. So if you click on that, that is actually the foreground of what would be in front if we were to add a gradient, which we're going to do here in a second. Or you can click here to get your background color. So we want our foreground color to be kind of a purple. You could come over to swatches as well. Once we have that purple selected, we're going to come over here to the paint bucket tool. It might be gradient right now, but we want paint bucket. Then you simply click on the background, and now you've got your color. To add a gradient to that, we're going to change this to gradient. And we got different options up here. For example, if you click here, it'll give you something different. But you have to select your foreground, or excuse me, your background color. We want it to be kind of a gray, and you may have to go to swatches to pick out a gray. But then with the gradient tool, if you simply click and draw a line, it will create sort of a gradient right there. There are different ways to do that. This one is not my favorite, but it does that. So just simply pick one of those and also create a gradient. At this point, you can pause if you need to fix that up. One other thing I want to point out about color is the eyedropper tool, which is right here. The eyedropper tool can be used to select colors that are already being used. So for example, if you wanted something to be this particular hue of purple, you can click on that and it will make it that particular color. So the eyedropper tool is a good thing to use as well. Next, we're going to add text to our flyer here. So down here is the text tool. You got horizontal and vertical. Those are the two that we might use, but we're going to start with the horizontal text tool. And once you click in there, you can change the font to, you got lots of different options. We're going to go with Magneto, and we're going to type Tailgate Party 2018. That's kind of hard to see for a couple of reasons. One, we need to change the font size. Let's make it 48. We also may need to change the color. Let's make it a little bit darker, almost black. And click OK. And there's our Tailgate Party text. Next, we're going to add a layer style to our text. So this is something very simple that you can do. This layer right here, it says what is in the text, Tailgate Party 2018. And right down here, this is the layer style button. We can click on that. We got lots of different options. I'm simply going to go with a drop shadow. Again, once you get in there, you've got several different options. We're just simply going to click OK. And if you look closely, you can see a little bit of a shadow there. So that is a drop shadow layer style. Okay, we need to add some more text to our flyer here. We need to give people more information about what's going on here. So we're going to put the date of the event, which we'll say is this Saturday. If you press enter, you can type below it. The time of the event will be 9 o'clock a.m. and the location will be in Manhattan, Kansas. Now, I don't actually want this, because this is a subheading, we don't want it to be the same font, so we're going to change it up a little bit. How about Bradley Hand ITC? Font size looks good. The text color is fine. So we need those headings, those subheadings underneath our main heading. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is add a shape to our flyer here, and we're going to type around the shape. It's called adding text on a path. So let's go with the polygon tool, and when we draw that, it's going to create a little polygon here. We can move it around, of course, so let's move it down about here. And then we go back to the horizontal type tool, and if you come over here and get right on the shape, I guess we could start up here. If you click there, you can actually start typing. So I typed "bring your favorite tailgate foods," and when you put it right there on that shape, it actually creates a path for your text. It goes right around there. Next, we're going to add an image to our flyer, a couple of images actually. The first one we're going to do what's called a clipping mask, where basically the image is going to be put inside of the shape that we already have there. Okay, so we're going to go to the internet. I've already searched for K-State football. You are going to want to look for something like that. So I found this picture that I like, and I'm simply going to copy it, come back to Photoshop, and paste it. Now, of course, it's going to create a whole new layer. And so we're going to name the layer. I'm also going to transform it. If you hold down on Shift and transform, it will maintain the proper proportion of the image. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to put it right over the top of our shape. Okay, and once we have our shape, the size that we want, and in the location we want, we're going to try to create a clipping mask. Now, we have to make sure it's in the proper order, so we may need to move it down. It needs to be right above the polygon. And then what we do is we hold down on the Alt key right in between these layers, and you'll see that black arrow pointing down. And when we click, it creates what's called a clipping mask. So it becomes part of the shape. It goes inside the shape. Okay, the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add an image that will be kind of a background behind the text. So we need to go back to Google, and I searched for PowerCat logo, and I clicked on this one right here. We're going to copy it and come back here. Make sure you're on the top layer before you paste it, so click on that. And now when I paste, again, we're going to have to transform it. Hold down on Shift to maintain proper proportion. Okay, and then I'm going to put it right up here. Actually, I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so it's not covering up that information. Put it right back here. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the opacity. We could move it down so that it's behind this stuff, but all we need to do is change the opacity. I'm going to take it down to about 40%. Close enough. And now we have a nice background image right behind our text. If there are any parts of this video that you need to review again, please feel free to back it up and watch those parts. When you are finished, I would like for you to show me what you've created so I can compare it to what it's supposed to look like. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.